Hello again, this is Cloris Kylie, and I hope your profile is all set and it's optimized so you are ready to get the most from your LinkedIn platform. First point is so important for people to be able to connect with you in an easy way. Many times I try to connect with somebody, and when I try to do so, they only accept connections who have their email address. And I become annoyed. It's like, okay, I don't really want to connect with this person anymore. Make it easy for people to find you and easy for people to actually request a connection. You can always say no if that person is not a good match for you, if it's just a spam request, and deny it. But make it easy for people to at least try to connect with you. Also, you want to make sure you join groups. I've met so many amazing people through the groups, and at first, I thought they were a waste. As I thought LinkedIn was a waste, and until I joined them, and then I realized that they were a great venue to meet amazing people and to gather knowledge that I never would have learned otherwise. Now, there are 3 types of groups that you will want to join on LinkedIn. The first one is groups related to your industry, so you can stay current on industry news and trends. Also, you want groups where your target market hangs out. If you're looking for a job, you want groups where potential employers might be. If you're a salesperson, you want to belong to groups where your prospects are. So think about your goal and then join those groups. And the third kind of group is those that are created around topics that you're interested in. Maybe topics you want to learn more about. So think about that, join those groups. You can join a total of 50, so you might as well join as many as you can. The more you join, the more people you will have access to. I would say if you find a group with less than 100 people, it's probably not the best because they are not that active. You want a group with active conversations. They are perfect venues to share links to your blog when you have a new article coming out, when you have something that you want to offer of value. Then definitely share it with your groups. Now make sure the content is relevant to the group. It's easy to want to share your knowledge with the whole world, right? But maybe some people are not interested. I belong to some groups that are just focused on social media. So when I publish things related to personal development or even career development, I know it's not their thing. So I don't share it with them, okay? So before you share anything, just ask yourself, is this bringing value to the people who are going to read it? I also suggest that if you want to position yourself as a leader in your community or in your niche market, creating your own group could be a great next step. You'll have control over all the content within the discussions, and you can be positive that the right audience is hearing your message. I created a group based on personal branding because I'm passionate about the subject, and it's great. I've made wonderful connections. It takes a little bit of time to grow the group, so be patient, but it's definitely worth it. You can become a leader within your groups if you always provide great content that is relevant to your audience and your industry. And it doesn't have to be your own content. If you're not writing blog articles all the time, you can always share articles that you read that are of interest to you. People really appreciate that. Remember to cross-promote your LinkedIn group on other social media networks so it grows. It will take, again, a little bit of time, but it will happen, and you'll see how your networks just become stronger and more powerful so you can help yourself and help other people as well. You've got to make sure you populate your network. When you reach the 500 connection level, you reach a whole new status on LinkedIn. As I say on my course, Personal Branding by Design, perception is one of the determinants of the strength of your brand, and having these many connections makes you basically look like someone who is sought out. This is an example of social proof. Somebody with a lot of connections is much more likely to receive connection requests. And the goal always is to expand your network with quality people who have similar values, people who can help you, and people you can help. Also, when you have a large network, your articles will be shared more, which in turn improves your credibility. And also it makes you look like an authority as a professional. Another way to leverage the power of LinkedIn is to personalize your connection requests. It's a must to write a personalized note every time you want to connect with somebody. Tell them why you think connecting with you will be beneficial for them. I always do this. I always say, well, I read your article, I listened to your podcast. Tell them how you learned about them, and most of the time, people will accept your invitation. In my case, I never accept invitations from people I don't know who didn't take the time, the couple of seconds to personalize the invitation. So make sure you do that, okay? You'll see the difference. As a little side note in the whole process of personalizing your requests for connections, you might have a little bit of trouble with the mobile application. Every time I try to invite somebody with my cell phone, it does not allow me to personalize the invitation, especially, of course, if that person is a second-degree connection. So make sure you double-check. Things constantly change, so this hopefully will change in the future. But if it's a second-degree connection, I would rather wait until I have access to my laptop to send that personalized note that will really make a difference in the whole nature of the new relationship. The next step to leverage your LinkedIn power is to research and to manage your network, especially if you have a really large network. If we're aiming for the 500 plus connections, then you definitely want to know what industries your connections belong to, the companies, their location, the things that they're known for, maybe their comments that they post. You want to make sure you categorize them. Something that I really like is a profile tags. And what I do is next to everybody, I just write a little note. First of all, how I met them and the type of, nature of our relationship. So for example, I have people who are really knowledgeable about personal branding, and that's because that's one of my main interests. Then I tag people with the personal branding tag. Then maybe there are some other people who are more personal connections, so then I assign another tag. So be creative and assign tags to all the people in your network. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it's worth it. Because again, you don't want your network to be a series of names that you never connect with. You want them to be real people who you can help and people who can help you. A must to leverage the power of LinkedIn is to provide real value. The biggest mistakes on social media come from the misconception that people care about what you have to say, and that's not the case. They care about finding solutions to their problems. That's it. So the golden rule of LinkedIn etiquette and social media in general is to always provide undeniable value. Value that speaks to the exact type of person you're trying to connect with. People who consistently share content get 2 or 3 times the number of unsolicited profile views. And again, that's what you need so you increase your connections. If you blog or you create your own content, then of course, share it. But if not, you can find valuable content to share on your social media feed or even websites that you visit that you think might be of value to your network. I would say spend at least 20 to 30 minutes a day just sharing information, commenting, and liking. It'll make a difference. Nothing makes a person happier than to be recognized for what he or she does. Likes and shares are a form of social applause. So follow your prospects, check out their posts, and clap. Endorsements are also a wonderful way to strengthen your connections and just to be on the radar. But make sure you endorse connections based on what you know about them. Okay? Don't just randomly endorse everybody for everything that pops up. Remember that your personal brand is at stake. You must always keep integrity in mind and careful attention to what you do online, no matter what. At the same time, don't ask new connections or people you don't know to endorse you. Just because random people endorse you all the time doesn't make it okay to ask for endorsements if you don't know that person, right? So if they want to endorse you after they receive a notification that you endorse them, then they will. But don't ask for it unless it's someone you know well. Recommendations are the next step. Of course, they are stronger than endorsements, and I definitely recommend that number 1, you give recommendations, and number 2, you request them. Because people are so busy, they don't really think about it. So I would say if you're going to ask for a recommendation, make sure that the people you ask know you really well and they can actually write a really good recommendation. If you know that somebody is extremely busy, you can always offer to write a recommendation for them. That has worked well for me. But I would say always start by giving. Write recommendations for people you admire, for your mentors, and you'll see how they appreciate it, and the connection between the two of you will become stronger. People really appreciate it. If they write a recommendation for you, then great. If not, but that's fine too, because you're not doing it to get anything back from them. It's important that you personalize your recommendation request. Of course, just like you personalized your connection request, you also have to tell them exactly what you're looking for. Say, well, I need a recommendation about my public speaking skills. So what do you know about this project we work on together? So make sure you say exactly what you need so people can really help you. Something I definitely suggest is that you write a welcome message to all new connections. And that welcome message should provide some sort of value. In my case, I always send a link to a free ebook that I have to my connections or some article that I think will bring value to them. I recently connected with a person who sent me a link that said, "Here is a video of my pet shark." Yes, I do have a pet shark and you'll love this. So I was curious, I clicked on it, and it's true, it was a little pet animated shark, and it was saying just thank you. Thank you for connecting with me on LinkedIn. And it had a cute, uplifting message. So I will always remember this woman. See, so that's what you want. You want a personalized touch. I have a marketing background, and one of the first things I learned is that customer retention is way more important than customer acquisition. And I think we can apply the same thing to LinkedIn. Yes, it's super important to expand our network, but it's so much more important to nurture our current relationships. So make an effort to reach out to your valued connections. It could be as easy as leaving a positive comment on their recent update or sending them something of value, some sort of article that you feel will help them. It could also be just saying congratulations when they have a new job or a promotion or a new product. You know what's best. Make sure you really have these people in mind. And I read this book. It's an awesome book. It's called The Power of Who. And the book's premise is basically you already know who you need to know. You already know who you need to know. So take a look at your current connections and figure out, first of all, how can I help these people and how can they help me? And solidify that connection, rekindle that connection, and nurture all of your connections. Continuing with the theme of providing value and giving, make sure your contact list is open to your connections. Why is that important? Well, if you hide them, it'll make you look as somebody who's self-serving. Like I personally, when I have a new connection and I try to see their connections and they're blocked, I feel like they don't trust me. So you don't want people to feel that about you. Make sure you go to your profile, your privacy controls, and then you select who can see your connections. You say pretty much everybody who is connected with you. Otherwise, then don't accept the request. If there's something that you really don't want to share with these people, do not add them to your network. Also, it's important to introduce your connections to each other. And this is not something that you're just going to sit down in front of the computer and start providing referrals. But when you meet someone new, just ask yourself, how could this person benefit from meeting somebody in my network? And then tell them, I think you should connect with this person. Would you like me to make an introduction? And then do so. That way you're helping your new connection, you're helping your current connection because they also want to expand that network. And again, you're just solidifying all of your connections, making them a stronger asset for you in the future. An important part of LinkedIn etiquette is to reply to emails as quickly as you can. Just treat it like a regular email address. I usually take maybe a day or two maximum to reply, and that's best. If you're going to wait 2 or 3 weeks, I've had people who I actually wait even more than that. 2 months later, they say, about your email. I would not do that because that damages your personal brand. You will be seen as somebody who never replies, somebody who's not responsible, so you do not want to do that. Also, make sure that any content that you share with groups provides value. So think twice before you press that share button. I've seen people who just send spam messages, basically selling their stuff. You don't want to do that. Another important point about groups is that you have to make sure you monitor your activity. Why? Because remember, anything you post, anything you say on LinkedIn and pretty much any social media platform should match your goals, number one, and should also match your personal brand. So what image do you want to convey? Now, if you're a member of a lot of groups, it can be tough to remember what you posted or commented on each group. So to view your activity, you go to the group you want to look at, and then you go to the discussion page. You will see the link Your Activity under your image, and then you click on it. Then you can see your latest activity, everything you have posted, replied to, are following, or have pending in that group. I would always do this. So just to make sure again that anything you do is aligned first with your goals and also with your personal brand. I'll share with you a couple more tips for proper LinkedIn etiquette. And the first one is to not base an invitation to connect on whether somebody viewed your profile. You will see messages such as, "I see you viewed my profile, let's connect." And that's actually a little bit creepy, right? So it's important that you personalize the invitation to connect, but do not mention that. Also, remember that LinkedIn is not Twitter or Facebook. So it's not possible really to share exactly the same updates on all social media platforms. Anything that you post on LinkedIn should be professional. It should be career related and related to your career goals, okay? Just think twice before you post anything.